You don't lose your future overnight. You lose it in small moments. Scroll by scroll, click by click, hour by hour. You sit down to do something important, and somehow 3 hours are gone. No progress, no clarity, just noise. And the worst part, you tell yourself you were busy, but deep down you know you didn't move forward at all. This is the silent trap that keeps more people stuck than failure ever will. It doesn't look dangerous. It doesn't feel urgent. But that's what makes distractions so deadly. They slip in quietly. They don't demand your attention. They steal it. And once they do, they start eating away at your focus, your goals, your potential, one notification at a time. Success isn't just about working hard. It's about working smart and staying focused. You can have talent, goals, and ambition, but if your attention is scattered, none of it will matter, because the mind is a tool. And like any tool, it only works when it's directed, when it's aimed, when it's trained. Every dream you've ever had is possible, but only if you protect your focus, only if you stop giving your best energy to things that don't matter, and only if you realize the real enemy of progress isn't fear, it's distraction. This video isn't just advice, it's a warning, because if you don't take control of your time, someone else will. And if you don't fight for your focus, you'll lose more than minutes. You'll lose your edge, you'll lose your fire. And worst of all, you'll lose the version of yourself you were meant to become. Now is the time to take your power back. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because the life you want doesn't come from more noise. It comes from more focus. Part 1, distractions. Steal your time without warning? From the moment your alarm buzzes, the world offers endless ways to pull you away from what matters most. A quick check on your phone, a news headline that pops up, a social media notification. You think it will only take a second, but those seconds add up. By the time you realize it, half your morning is gone. That's how distractions work. They don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly and steal your time without you even noticing. The real cost of that stolen time isn't just minutes or hours. It's lost momentum, unseen opportunities, and progress you don't get back. You feel busy, but inside you sense that you're going nowhere. That low-level stress builds up until you wonder why nothing seems to move forward, even though you're always doing something. That constant shift between tasks leaves your mind scattered, your focus broken, and your dreams delayed. Think about an important piece of work you've been putting off, an idea you've been wanting to start, a skill you've been planning to learn, a project that could change your life. Now imagine if instead of falling into distraction, you had those 2 or 3 quiet hours every morning to make real progress. It's not a big leap, it's simply unbroken focus. But distraction doesn't ask before it enters. It just jumps in. And once it's part of your day, it opens the door to more distractions. You watch one video, then another. You scroll until your finger hurts. You respond to small talk that doesn't feed your ambitions. You multitask, hoping to feel productive, but it never works. Your brain slows down, you lose clarity, and you end the day frustrated that your plans never found room to live. The truth is, distractions will always be there. They've been there since the first time someone whispered, "You're not enough." Today, technology just makes the problem louder, faster, and more tempting. You've got to fight back with intention. You don't schedule distraction into your life, because if you do, you're in control of nothing. Start by noticing. Notice where you lose time. Notice when your mind drifts. Notice how you feel after 5 minutes of random scrolling. That quick moment of ease becomes guilt, frustration, and regret. And yet we keep going. That habit is costing you. Lost progress, lost confidence, lost days. Now picture something different. You sit down, you commit, you close your door, silence your notifications, and you focus. You work quietly while the world keeps scrolling. You finish your task. You pause, you stretch, then you go deeper. Instead of spending your morning drifting, you're living it with purpose. You feel the clarity settle in. You notice the breeze at your window, the satisfying scratch of your pen, the steady click of keys. That focus is magnetic. And once you have it, distractions feel empty and hollow. Distractions steal more than just time. They steal your belief. When you plan to move forward, but your day disappears into noise, you start to question yourself. You begin to think you're easily sidetracked. You start believing the voice that says you don't have what it takes, but that voice isn't real. It's the echo of distraction trying to cloud your potential. The real prize is not just time saved, it's progress made, it's confidence built, it's a forward motion that feels good even when it's small. It's the peace of being in control of your day, your choices, and your mind. When you stop letting distractions steal your time, you start holding your own power back. You begin making the difference you came here to make. So it's time to choose. Not once in a while, every single day. Decide what you'll focus on. Decide what you'll refuse to let in. Decide the one task that matters most and give it the first hour of your day. If distraction finds a crack, close it. If your phone tries to call your attention, let it ring. If your mind starts to drift, guide it back gently, because every moment spent focused is a moment earning back what distraction tried to take. Your goals deserve uninterrupted time. Your skills deserve undivided attention. Your future deserves your best today. Don't let distractions steal what you haven't built yet. The battle for your focus starts now, and it's worth every second. Part 2, they keep you busy but unproductive. You wake up and feel like you're already behind. So you jump into action. You check messages, reply to emails, browse a few headlines, skim a couple of updates, respond to a comment or two, flip open a few tabs, and bounce between tasks before finishing even one. The day moves fast. You're doing 100 little things, but none of them really move the needle. You're busy, but deep down, you know you're not being productive. That quiet voice inside whispers it again and again. This isn't it. This isn't the work that builds your dream. Being busy can feel good at first. It makes you feel important, like you're in demand, like you're engaged. But if that busyness isn't taking you anywhere, it slowly becomes a trap. You confuse motion with progress. You think you're building something, but at the end of the day, you have nothing solid to point to. Nothing you can say is truly finished. No meaningful task that brought you closer to your bigger goals. And when the day ends, instead of satisfaction, all you feel is exhaustion and guilt. The truth is, most distractions don't look like distractions. They disguise themselves as important. They look like tasks. They look like things you should respond to. But they aren't aligned with your vision. They aren't helping you grow. They aren't connected to anything you truly care about. And so they eat up your time, your energy, and your mental clarity while you slowly lose sight of what actually matters. A productive life isn't filled with clutter. It's filled with intention. It's built on doing the few right things every single day. But when distractions pull you in every direction, your energy gets spread thin. You say yes to everything, and that means you're saying no to the one thing that would have changed everything. Ask yourself this: what did you do yesterday that truly mattered? What task brought you closer to the person you want to become? What small but important step did you take toward your purpose? If you can't answer that clearly, there's a good chance distraction has been winning. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not talented, but because you've been too busy doing everything except what actually builds your future. The world rewards deep focus. It rewards people who know what matters and protect it. But focus doesn't happen by accident. You have to create it. You have to guard it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Your progress, your growth, your success, they all depend on what you choose to give your time to. Think about a builder trying to construct a house. If they keep stopping to answer phone calls, scroll through messages, get up to wander around, or try working on 5 other houses at the same time, what happens? The foundation never gets finished. The walls stay half built. The roof never goes up. And one day they look around and realize they've been working, but there's nothing standing. That's what a distracted life looks like. Lots of energy spent, nothing solid built. To win at anything, you have to stop filling your days with low-value activities. You have to cut out the things that pretend to be urgent but mean nothing in the long run. You have to stop trying to be everywhere and start showing up fully where it counts. When you begin to do fewer things but do them deeply, the quality of your life starts to change. You stop rushing. You stop faking progress. You start producing real results. You gain time back. You gain confidence. You start seeing your work come together, and it feels incredible. Distractions are smart. They wait for the moment you feel tired, overwhelmed, uncertain. That's when they slip in and give you something easy, something quick, something that feels like progress. But those are traps. They give you no return on your time. They just drain you quietly, and once they become a habit, they feel normal. But busy is not a badge of honor. It's a sign you're running in circles. You've got to break the cycle. You have to learn how to say no, even to good things, so you can say yes to the best things. You have to schedule time to do your most important work and then protect it with everything you've got. You don't need 100 hours a week. You just need a few hours of deep, focused work each day without interruptions, without distractions, without noise. That's when your mind clicks. That's when creativity flows. That's when ideas get turned into action. That's where your momentum starts to build. The difference between people who rise and people who stay stuck isn't talent, it's focus. The ones who win don't just work harder, they work sharper. They choose clarity over chaos. They choose progress over appearance. They choose to ignore what doesn't matter so they can master what does. And that's what separates success from regret. So if you're feeling stuck, it's time to stop checking boxes that don't count. It's time to cut the noise, clear the clutter, and commit to doing what truly matters, deeply, intentionally, and with everything you've got. Your future isn't waiting for busy, it's waiting for real work, done with focus and purpose. And when you make that shift, when you trade busy for productive, everything begins to change. Part 3, they break your focus and momentum. There's something powerful about being locked in. That feeling when your mind is sharp, your actions are clear, and you're moving forward without hesitation. That's called momentum. And once you find it, everything feels smoother, faster, and more purposeful. But distractions ruin that in an instant. One notification, one unimportant message, one glance at something that doesn't need your attention, and that mental flow you had, it's gone. Not just paused, not just interrupted, gone. And once you lose momentum, getting it back doesn't happen instantly. You don't just snap back into focus. You have to start again. You have to rebuild that drive, recreate that mindset, restart that rhythm. It costs you more time, more energy, and more mental strength than you realize. That's why distractions are dangerous. Not just because they steal minutes, but because they wreck your state of mind. There's a reason athletes, creators, and high performers protect their space and time. It's not just discipline, it's survival. Because they know that once they hit flow, they can do their best work. But if something breaks that flow, they're not the same. It takes longer to recover. The quality drops, the inspiration fades, the work suffers. And if you want to win in life, you have to protect your flow like it's gold. Focus isn't something you find by accident. It's something you build with practice. But every time you let something break it, you weaken it. The more you let yourself be pulled in 10 directions, the harder it becomes to move in one. The brain can't hold 2 priorities at once. It shifts, it toggles, it restarts. And every shift costs you speed and power. That's why so many people are working hard but getting nowhere. They start something, get distracted, lose their rhythm, then start again and repeat that cycle all day. No rhythm, no momentum, just a never-ending reset. Now, think about how many dreams get delayed because of that. How many goals are halfway done? How many ideas never make it past the first step? Not because they weren't good, not because the person wasn't smart, but because distractions kept breaking their focus, and without focus, even the best ideas die. If you want to train your mind for success, you have to start seeing focus as sacred. You have to treat momentum like it's fragile, because it is. You have to create space in your day where nothing interrupts you. No scrolling, no replying, no switching tabs. Just you and your mission. Even an hour of that kind of deep focused time is worth more than 5 hours of distracted motion. And when you get into that zone, you'll feel it. Things start clicking. The work flows. You stop overthinking and start doing. You stop second guessing and start producing. That's momentum. That's how real progress feels. And it's addictive, but only if you protect it. So you need to pay attention to the patterns that break your rhythm. Is it checking your phone too often? Is it saying yes to too many little things? Is it bouncing between tasks that aren't related? Whatever it is, start cutting it out, because your time is too valuable to waste restarting all the time. Your mind is too powerful to be scattered, and your dreams are too important to be delayed. There will always be something trying to steal your focus, but you decide whether it gets access. You control the door, you control your schedule, you control your priorities, and once you realize that, you take back your power. Your future is not waiting for you to check more boxes. It's waiting for you to stay focused long enough to finish what you started. It's waiting for you to hold your attention, build your rhythm, and protect it fiercely. That's how you move from average to excellent. Not by doing more, but by staying locked in. Not by doing more, but by staying locked in. Momentum is a gift, but it's one you have to earn. And the more you protect it, the more it grows. Soon you'll notice things happening faster, results showing up sooner, confidence building stronger, all because you finally stop letting small distractions rob you of big progress. So train yourself to stay in it. Push through the urge to check something. Push past the habit of jumping between tasks. And when you feel the flow starting to build, don't stop. Don't answer. Don't pause. Just keep going. That's when magic happens. That's when you feel unstoppable. That's when real success starts. Part 4, distractions delay your dreams. Success doesn't wait for anyone. Time keeps moving forward, and every day you spend distracted is a day your dream doesn't move. That's the cost of distraction. It's not just a few lost minutes. It's not just about starting over. It's about lost progress, missed momentum, and delayed outcomes. It's about looking back after a month or even a year and realizing you've been busy but not effective. You were moving but not progressing. People say they want to build something great. They say they want to change their life. They say they want to reach their goals. But then they spend hours on things that don't matter, scrolling endlessly, clicking one thing after another, replying to people who don't move the needle, watching things that drain energy but give nothing back. And somehow they believe they're going to get somewhere with that kind of rhythm. But the truth is you won't. Not because you're not smart, not because you don't have the talent, but because dreams demand attention, they demand time, and distractions steal both. When you aren't careful, what you ignore grows distant. What you feed grows strong, and if you keep feeding your distractions, your dreams starve, your vision becomes foggy, your energy drops, your desire weakens. Not because you gave up, because you got off course. You gave your mind to everything but your goal. And slowly your goal moved further away. You have to be honest about what's in the way. Look at how your day is spent. How much of it is focused time? How much of it is intentional? How many hours do you pour into your dream without letting the outside world pull you in 100 directions? That's the test. Because when something truly matters to you, you don't just wish for it. You build your life around it. You protect it. You schedule it. You prioritize it. And that means cutting out the noise. You don't get more time in the day, but you can take back the time that's being wasted. You can pull it back from social media, from empty conversations, from mindless browsing, from pointless tasks. You can reclaim that time and put it where it matters, on your growth, your vision, your mission. Most people don't fail because they didn't have a good idea. They fail because they didn't give it enough time. They didn't give it consistent focus. They stopped and started, got distracted, lost interest, got pulled away. And by the time they realized what was happening, too much time had passed. That's how distraction works. It's subtle. It doesn't feel dangerous in the moment, but it adds up. Day by day, hour by hour, until you look around and realize your dream hasn't moved. And the scariest part is this: nobody else will stop you from being distracted. The world doesn't owe you discipline. No one's coming to block those distractions for you. No one's going to turn off your notifications. No one's going to say, you should really focus now. That's on you. It always has been. You control what you give your attention to. And what you give your attention to, you give your future to. There's no shortcut around this truth. Success takes deep work. It takes full attention. It takes days where nothing else matters but the mission. And if you keep letting small things interrupt that mission, you delay what you could have already had. You delay the life you said you wanted. You delay the version of you that's capable of more. All because distractions felt easier in the moment. But if you really think about it, There's no reward in easy distractions. There's no fulfillment in knowing every headline. There's no growth in checking every update. There's no strength in being available to everyone all the time. The reward is in progress. The fulfillment comes from seeing your life take shape because you chose to do the work instead of feed the noise. If you want to move faster, eliminate the things that slow you down. Get rid of what doesn't move you forward. Say no to things that pull you sideways. Shut the door on things that break your concentration. Not because you're being rude, not because you think you're better, but because your future deserves more from you. Your dream deserves more from you, and you can't keep pushing it aside. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about making the decision day after day to focus on what matters. It's knowing that your dream doesn't have time to wait for your attention. It's ready now, but are you? You will never regret the hours you gave to your vision. You'll never regret the things you didn't watch, the feeds you didn't scroll, the calls you didn't take, but you will regret the dreams that stayed on paper, the goals that stayed in your head, the opportunities that passed you by while you were distracted. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer distractions in the hours you have. The time is already there. The dream is already inside you. The question is, will you focus long enough to bring it to life? Part 5, they make you compare instead of create. Distractions are dangerous, not just because they waste your time, but because they quietly shift your focus away from building your life toward watching someone else live theirs. Every time you're locked into someone else's story, you're not writing your own. And that's the trap. The more you consume, the more you compare. And the more you compare, the less you create. You begin to question yourself, your pace, your path. You begin to wonder if you're doing enough, even when you're giving your all. And that's how distraction becomes poison to your self-belief. Comparison has a way of sneaking in through the smallest cracks. You start off just checking in, just taking a quick look, just scrolling to relax. But slowly, you start to measure your life by someone else's highlight reel, their progress, their results, their lifestyle. And if you're not careful, you start to feel behind even when you're right on time. You start doubting the steps you've taken because they don't look like someone else's. That's how comparison works. It makes you feel small in places where you were starting to grow. It replaces your own standard with someone else's pace. That's why you must be aware of how often you let your attention wander into someone else's lane. Not because you're weak, but because your mind is wired to track progress. And when you feed it more of others' lives than your own, it naturally starts judging you by their scoreboard. But that's not how growth works. Your progress has to be measured by where you were yesterday, not where someone else is today. Distractions pull you into that trap. They make you watch instead of build. They tempt you with the illusion that everyone else is moving faster, doing better, living larger. And it creates a quiet pressure. The kind that makes you question your timing, your decisions, your life, and then without even realizing it, you begin to change things that didn't need to be changed. You abandon ideas too early. You shift directions too soon. Not because you failed, but because someone else looked further along. That's the cost of watching too much. You don't just lose time, you lose direction. You lose confidence. You lose that inner sense that says, stay focused. And you replace it with a restless voice that says, hurry up, you're behind. And that pressure kills creativity. It stifles momentum. It steals joy. Because when you're not creating from your own truth, you're just copying noise. And the world doesn't reward copies. It rewards originality. It rewards consistency. It rewards people who stay locked into their own race. You have to build a wall between you and distraction. Not because you're afraid, but because you value your peace. Because you understand that greatness doesn't come from constantly watching others. It comes from showing up for your own life. Every day. Quietly, intentionally. Even when no one sees it. Even when it looks slow. Even when you feel uncertain. Because that's what creates real progress. Not noise. Not comparison. Not approval. But focus. The most powerful thing you can do is protect your mind from anything that makes you feel less than who you are. You don't need to see what everyone's doing. You don't need to know how fast they're going. You need to stay in your lane, eyes forward, fully present. Because the more time you spend watching, the less time you spend building, and you can't win like that. You can't grow like that. You can't lead your life like that. Progress comes from building brick by brick, not looking up every 5 minutes to check how someone else is doing. You've got to be so grounded in your purpose that you don't flinch when you see someone else get ahead, because you know you're on your way too. And you know the only thing that will get you there is focus, not envy, not rush, not copying, but consistency. Every second you spend comparing is a second you could have used creating. Every time you pause to measure someone else, you slow your own momentum. That's the trade-off, and it's not worth it. Not when you've come this far. Not when you've fought through so much already. Not when you've got work to do and goals to reach. You can't afford to lose yourself in what everyone else is doing. You've got to be laser focused on what you're here to build. You were not put here to compete with people who don't share your vision. You were not born to copy someone else's idea. You have your own voice, your own mind, your own timing, but you've got to trust it. And that trust only grows when you cut out the noise, when you block out everything that makes you question what you already know to be true inside. Distraction makes comparison feel urgent, but creation is what makes you powerful. Creation is what builds your future. It's what turns ideas into results. It's what makes your life worth living. And you don't need to be perfect to create. You just need to stay consistent. You just need to stay grounded. You just need to remember that your dream didn't come from scrolling through someone else's. It came from within you. And if you give it your full attention, you will see it rise. You don't need to be like anyone else to succeed. You just need to be fully present in your own life. And when you stop comparing, you start creating again. You take your time back, you take your energy back, you take your vision back, and most importantly, you take control of the story you're writing because you finally stopped reading everyone else's. Part 6, they feed comfort, not growth. Distractions don't just steal your time. They don't just shift your focus. They feed something far more dangerous, comfort. And comfort, while it feels good in the moment, is the enemy of growth. Because when you're comfortable, you stop reaching. When you're entertained, you stop building. And when your day is full of shallow pleasures, there's no room left for deep progress. Growth is not a feeling. It's not exciting every day. It doesn't always feel productive. Most of the time, it's quiet, invisible, and sometimes uncomfortable. It's the long hours with no applause. It's the discipline when no one is watching. It's the hard choices that no one understands. That's where real growth happens. But distractions don't lead you there. They pull you away from it. They give you just enough dopamine, just enough ease, just enough noise to keep you from doing the deep work that actually changes your life. It's easy to sit back and scroll. It's easy to watch one more video, read one more post, check one more feed. That kind of behavior is always available. It doesn't require effort. It doesn't demand anything from you. And that's the danger, because it tricks you into thinking you're doing something when in reality your dreams are sitting untouched, waiting for you to show up and do the hard part. Comfort feels safe, but it comes with a silent price. You miss the pain that teaches. You miss the effort that strengthens. You miss the discipline that builds you. Because every minute you choose comfort, you're turning away from the stretch that could have made you stronger. It's not that rest is bad. You need rest. But there's a difference between rest and escape. And distractions are escape. They're mental vacations you didn't earn. They're breaks you didn't schedule. They're a retreat from the resistance that actually helps you grow. You don't grow by escaping your challenges. You grow by stepping into them. You grow when you stay in the uncomfortable space of figuring things out. You grow when you finish the work, even when you're tired. You grow when you face the silence instead of filling it with noise. That's when you become more. Not when everything is easy, but when you push through what's difficult. Distractions rob you of that chance. They dull your hunger. They flatten your ambition. They convince you that tomorrow is fine, that later is okay, that starting next week is normal. And that's how goals die. Slowly, quietly, in the background of a life that's always busy but never building. That's why comfort is dangerous. It doesn't look like a threat. It looks like rest. But it's really delay. It's postponement. It's an excuse dressed up as a habit. To grow, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to go where things are uncertain, where things stretch you, where your excuses don't work anymore. And that takes intention, it takes awareness, it takes a decision to choose growth over ease. You'll never feel like doing it every day, that's normal. But if you wait for the feeling, you'll never make the move. That's why so many people stay stuck. They keep chasing a life that feels better instead of building one that is better. You don't rise by being entertained. You rise by being committed. You rise by choosing the harder path over the easy one, day after day. And once you do that long enough, comfort starts to feel empty because you've tasted progress. You've felt the difference between a lazy evening and a productive one. You've seen what happens when you stop giving your energy to things that give you nothing back. Distractions don't just waste your time, they shape your identity. Every time you say yes to them, you're becoming someone who avoids the real work. You're becoming someone who settles for consumption over creation. And the more you say yes, the harder it gets to say no. That's why it has to stop. That's why you have to protect your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your future depends on what you do today, not what you think, not what you plan, what you actually do. If you want to grow, if you want to build something real, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to say no to comfort more than you say yes. That's where you separate yourself. That's where you rise above. It's not in the big moments, it's in the small ones. The everyday choices, the decision to sit down and write, to study, to build, to train, to show up when you'd rather relax, that's where champions are made. That's where progress lives. The more you chase comfort, the more you give up your power. But the more you resist it, the stronger you become. And once you taste that strength, once you feel what it's like to live with discipline, you don't want comfort anymore. You want growth, you want clarity, you want results, because those things last. Comfort never does. It fades as quickly as it came. But the results you earn through focus and discipline, those stay with you. They build your confidence, they make you proud, they move your life forward. Don't build a life around feeling good. Build a life around becoming great. Build a life around doing what matters. Build a life that demands more from you, not less. That's where the fulfillment is, not in ease, but in effort. Not in distraction, but in purpose. And the moment you decide to rise above distraction, to say no to comfort, is the moment you take control of your future. Part 7, eliminating distractions. Speeds up your success. There's a reason why some people move faster in life, why they seem to rise while others stay in the same place. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's not even intelligence. The truth is they learned how to eliminate distractions. They made a decision to stop letting anything get in the way of their focus. They built a life around what matters and they got rid of everything else. That's how you speed up success, not by doing more things, but by doing the right things without interruption. Distractions are silent killers. They don't show up with warnings. They just slip into your day and steal 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. They seem harmless, but they add up. A day of distractions becomes a week becomes a month. And before you know it, your dreams are still sitting on the shelf, untouched, because you've been too busy answering every notification and reacting to everything around you. When you remove distractions, your time multiplies. Your energy deepens. Your mind becomes sharper. You don't need more hours in a day. You just need fewer leaks. You need to stop wasting energy on things that give you nothing back. That's where real growth comes from. Not from doing everything, but from doing the most important things with full attention and consistency. If you want to get ahead, you can't afford to let your day get hijacked by noise. You have to take control of it. You have to own your schedule, your space, your habits. You have to cut out the nonsense, cut out the meaningless scrolling, cut out the fake emergencies, cut out the mental clutter that keeps you spinning but never moving. Because every minute you give to a distraction is a minute you steal from your future. Most people live in reaction mode. They jump from task to task, message to message, thought to thought. There's no rhythm, no direction, no discipline. And then they wonder why success feels so far away. Success isn't far. It's just buried under distractions. It's waiting for you to clear the path. And once you do, everything starts moving faster. Your clarity goes up, your confidence rises, your work improves, your results multiply. Eliminating distractions isn't about living like a robot. It's about respecting your vision enough to protect it. It's about deciding that your goals matter more than temporary pleasure. It's about saying no, not because you're negative, but because you're focused. Every no to a distraction is a yes to your future. And the more you say no, the stronger your focus becomes. Success loves speed, and speed only comes from focus. Not frantic effort, not burnout, just deep, deliberate, focused action. That's what moves the needle. That's what changes your life. And that kind of focus isn't found in a noisy environment. It's found in quiet discipline. It's found in early mornings, turned off phones, and time blocks that are guarded like gold. You don't get ahead by chasing everything. You get ahead by mastering your direction, by deciding where you're going and clearing out everything that doesn't serve that path. That's how you make room for progress. That's how you build momentum. It's not magic, it's not mystery, it's clarity plus commitment, without interference. Think about how much time you'd get back if you stopped checking things that don't matter. Think about how much energy you'd save if you weren't constantly pulled in 100 directions. Think about how far you could go if your day was built around action instead of reaction. That's not just a dream, that's a choice. And it starts by removing the things that pull you off course. It's not easy. Your brain is addicted to distraction. It's used to stimulation, entertainment, convenience. But what's easy isn't always good. And what's uncomfortable is often what's necessary. The first few days will feel strange. Quiet will feel boring. Focus will feel hard. That's okay. You're retraining your mind. You're building the ability to concentrate. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Until one day, focus becomes your default. And distractions, they start to look like the waste of time they really are. You'll see people still stuck in the noise, still trapped in the loop, still spinning their wheels while you've been building quietly. And you'll know exactly why, because you made the hard choice to eliminate what didn't matter. And now you're moving faster, you're working smarter, you're winning not because you did more, but because you did what mattered, and nothing else. Success doesn't happen when conditions are perfect. It happens when distractions are removed. When you take your time seriously, when you treat your focus like it's priceless, when you show up for your goals like they're non-negotiable, that's when things start moving. That's when progress gets real. Every day, you have two choices. You can feed your distractions or feed your goals, but you can't do both. One of them has to go, and if you want to win, you already know which one it is. The sooner you choose focus, the faster you rise. The truth is, your time is limited. Every day, you're either moving closer to who you want to be or drifting further away. You don't get to stand still. The clock keeps ticking, life keeps moving, and if you're distracted, you'll miss it. You'll wake up one day with nothing to show for all those hours you gave away. No progress, no peace, just a life full of noise that kept you from your real potential. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. It's about being intentional with the minutes you have. Because once they're gone, they're gone. You don't get them back. You can't rewind time. But you can take control now. You can decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. You can decide what kind of life you're going to live from this moment forward. It takes courage to say no. It takes discipline to stay focused. It takes maturity to delay pleasure for the sake of purpose. But that's how winners are made. That's how leaders rise. That's how successful people stay successful. They don't chase every ping, every scroll, every shiny thing. They build walls around their goals. They protect their peace. They eliminate everything that pulls them off track because they know that what they're building is worth it. So ask yourself, what are your distractions really costing you? Are you okay with trading your dreams for comfort? Are you okay giving your best hours to things that don't matter? Or are you ready to step up, cut the noise, and give your energy to what truly counts? Every day is a chance to get better. Every morning is a chance to refocus. And every choice is a vote for the kind of future you want to live. If you want to win, act like it, focus like it, move like it, build your life like it matters because it does. And no one's coming to do it for you. The distractions will always be there, but so will the dream. You just have to choose which one means more. And if you choose right, if you stay locked in, if you guard your mind like a champion, then success won't be a question of if, It'll be a matter of when. Your time is now. Protect it, use it, honor it, because the more you do, the faster you move, and the faster you move, the closer you get to everything you've been working for. That's how you win. That's how you rise. One focused day at a time.